facilitate the coordination and cooperation of different levels, and to ensure that the activities and programs of the community security and small arms control are given high-level attention. Now the Bureau is under the Ministry of Interior due to the central role of police in law enforcement.
Oh, that's great. What do you have to say, Mr. John?
Yeah, actually, my role will be just a complementary, something that General Christo did not say. I will try to add it on, but as you put it, the Bureau, as a national focal point, it has a lot of work to do. First of all, let me go to practical part of it. We have to make sure that we sensitize the communities on the danger with small arms and live weapons. First, at the personal level, family level, community level, and national level. Down there, regional and international level. So the issue of the small arm and live weapon is a local, national, regional, and international burden. We need to be addressed. What we are doing, first of all, in terms of dealing with communities, we want to let them know the danger of having firearms. At the political level, we want to make sure that we got a high-profile attention, because this one is not an issue that is affecting one person. It's affecting all of us. And I cannot tell you what it means, because you know where we are in now. It's a real issue that needs the whole cooperation of the whole people of this country.
Great. Brigadier Christo, what do you have to say as far as challenges are concerned on this process?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges of small arms in this country is the lack of the legal framework. Because lack of the legal framework is the major contributing factor to armed violence. We don't have laws that regulate the possession of a small arm by civilians. Yes, it is true that we develop policy on the small arms and light weapon, and also based on policy we develop bill on the small arms and light weapon.
Right.
The policy was submitted to the Minister of Interior, who made a submission to the Council of Ministers, was discussed and passed to Parliament for debate, and it's still there right now. And then, based on the policy, as I said earlier, we developed the bill on the small arms and light weapon. This bill is right now in the Ministry of Justice for technical review. And we are doing our best to try to push it and to make sure that this law has been enacted and implemented. Because without law, you cannot do anything. You cannot even carry out the civilian disarmament.
Right.
Yes, you cannot even destroy the weapons that are obsolete. You cannot do anything. The law is the fundamental part of the fundamental point of departure. So I would like to urge the relevant authorities through this program that we must see to it that that bill is enacted and implemented.
Mr. John, do you have something to add on top of that?
Yes. First, we have a paper called White Paper for the SPLA, which is regulating the use of arms within the jurisdiction of the Army. We have the Police Act of 2008. It also organizes or guide the use of arms within police jurisdiction. We have South Sudan Code of Penal Code, 2008. It has also some articles either dealing with person who killed another person by using small arms. What we are doing, what we are talking about here in the Bureau, we are talking about a national comprehensive or holistic law that will include the civilians possessed arms, including others, including personal weapons like pistols, how to be regulated and how it will be used. Because when you have a unified law that governs the use of arms in this country, I believe that each one will be careful not to use his arms wrongly or to give his arm to be used by another person wrongly, because he or she will know that definitely they will face the law. So we are calling for this law to be enacted so that we have a holistic control of arm bill that will be, when it is finished from the Council, from the Minister of Justice, it might come to the National Assembly, and then signed by the President and become a law, then given to law enforcement agencies. Something like what we call amnesty for a certain period. Sorry. The government can get that amnesty for a certain period, say, for example, 30 days, 2 months. After 2 months from the enactment of the law and signed by the President, whoever will be fined with the small arm which is not authorized, then that person can pay the law. And for us, we believe in the Bureau that by doing this, the widespread of the small arm light weapon can be curbed.
Brigadier Christo.
Yes, so let me just add something to what you have said. Yes, we have different laws, but all these different laws are not responsive to the challenges posed by the proliferation and illicit small arms. And in addition, they are scattered in different laws related to firearms, explosives, and ammunition. And they are also not in line with the legally binding Nairobi Protocol, which we signed in 2011.
Right.
So they need to be harmonized in accordance with the provisions of the Nairobi Protocol, and so that they are they respond to the challenges posed by the proliferation of illicit small arms and light weapons.
Definitely.
Before you go ahead, I just want to add something concerning the issue of challenges. First of all, there are a lot of challenges that are facing the Bureau not to fully carry out its mandates and mission. For example, in current situation, one of the challenges is the current conflict, which allows the flow of arms back to the people who are not authorized to have arms. That's a big challenge. How to address it?
Right.
Number two, at the state level, we have offices. We have 10 offices in the states. For us to go to the states, sensitize the people, marking the arms, we don't have mobility. The third one, there's an issue of having a separate fund for activities. The Bureau don't have that. You can count and count and count challenges. But proliferation of arms is a real challenge against the life of our people, including my life and your life.
Great. Brigadier Christo, when you actually look at the Bureau, they're playing its role in making the policies, and at the same time, when we look at the bill, that is, it still has a process, but it will be signed with time, and whereby things will go right. What category of people are supposed to hold these small arms? Because we have the soldiers, we have the ministers, we have the public figures in the government. What type of people are legalized to hold this, and which ones are there to be marked not to?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. First of all, The law enforcement agencies, that is police, military, and national security, they are permitted to possess small arms by the nature of their responsibilities. Civilians also, they are allowed to possess a certain category of weapons, but it is subject to fulfilling the licensing requirements.
But now that the law is not yet implemented, and how will that work for the civilians especially?
No, now we still have the 1936 law, which also regulates the civilian possession of small arms. Yeah, so they have to possess certain categories of the weapon, but not one possessed by police or one possessed by the military, as you can see.
The civilians are also having it. Is it legally or not legally?
Sorry?
Some civilians also do have this, possess these small arms. Is it legal or not legally?
Those who have the license for it, we consider it as a legal possession. But anyone who has a weapon which is not licensed, it is in a legal position of that firearms. Yeah. And the third is the private security companies. These private security companies may, on the application to the relevant authorities, be granted permission to possess also a certain or a specified category of weapons. These are the categories who are supposed to hold the weapons, or these are the categories who are supposed to hold the weapon. Apart from all these things, anyone holding this weapon, be he the minister without license, be he, is considered that illegal possession.
What do you have to add on that?
Well, as we said, the law will be enacted. We are hoping that law will be enacted. But now, as there is no law refueled the old law, we believe that those old law can work to curb the misuse of arms. Number one. Number two, yes, it is true that the category of the weapons have to be identified. For example, we have something like a pistol of a 9 milli. That is a powerful weapon. It cannot be owned by a civilian. It has to be owned by a military man, somebody well trained, how to use arm and when to use it, know the rule of engagement. Then when you talk about the national and state and assembly constitutional post holders, they might allow to have a pistol, but that pistol have to go through licensing processes. Even if the person is a big person in the government, but the law says that he is not eligible to have the gun as a pistol, for example, a personal weapon. Be it, let him fulfill or her fulfill the law, he will get it. But if not fulfilling the law, why do you have it? Then we have, as General Christo said, we have policy making. The issue of licensing lies in the hands of the police, particularly the CID. They are the one to know the category. For example, nowadays, there are many people asking us, how can I license my pistol or my weapon? What simple, we tell them, okay, you take the letter from your department, from your unit, from your ministry or institution, you go to CID. Let the CID see the categories, what you wrote in the letter. If it is applicable with the law, then you can get it. If not, they will take from you the pistol.
Now, what do you have to say in the situation of South Sudan today where some people carry the laws into their hands?
Well, I say it's a situation that falls on us. The time will come that it will go, and people will come back to law. There is no way that you can jump up with the law.
Great. Viewers of South Sudan TV, let us go for a short break, as we will be right back to continue with this discussion on the small arms control in South Sudan. commercial break, and as we still continuing with our discussions on small arm control in South Sudan. That's why I'm here with my guest in the studio, trying to look at small arm control in South Sudan as far as the country is concerned. Let us try to look at actually the marking process that you people are undergoing. At the same time, South Sudan have got 10 states, and have you come up with some committees that are representing the 10 states into this process, or Juba is the focal point?
Thank you. Let me just give you a little background on the marking. From 2010 up to 2000, before South Sudan became an independent country, while Sudan was one country, we got two marking machines from Rexa, and by then we use different signs for the markings. For example, the police headquarters can just put it HQS and then SSP, something like that, to show that this weapon is belong to the headquarters of the police. When you go to Central Equatoria, you can make something like CE to make sure that this is for Central Equatoria. The same thing with Eastern Equatoria. But now, the machine that maybe some of you have saw it on the TV yesterday or the day before, is a machine that with full database system, which the symbol or the sign of the country, the Republic of South Sudan, will be added to it to indicate which weapon belongs to which. And the importance of this marking is that you can trace the weapon when even that weapon is used wrongly. You can trace it. For example, if somebody killed somebody here in South Sudan and he has that mark on his weapon and run away to Uganda, the Ugandan authorities can
be able to
identify that, well, this weapon is coming from South Sudan. Another one is, for example, the bullet. If that bullet, which killed the person or injured the person, is get by the forensic police and put to laboratory, that person who owned the weapon can be traced, whether a criminal is somebody intentionally used the weapon to harm another person, what it be. The most important thing in this is it make...
Great. Let us try to hear from Brigadier Christo. So, what do you have to say on the marking process?
What I have to say is that it's one of our key strategy to be in full control of our firearms. And marking goes hand in hand with record keeping, which we are trying now to establish. We want to establish 3 databases, one for police, other organized forces and civilians, and the second for the army, SPLA, and the third for national security.
Right.
And the purpose of all this, we want to control our weapons, the weapons that in the possession of the government. Because you cannot control the small arms while the weapons that are in possession of our government are not controlled.
Great.
So we need to control it first. And also the purpose of that is to reduce the threat of theft by criminal elements.
Okay, great. I think, what do you think will be the impact of this marking and the process, and at the same time to the people of South Sudan as far as this small arm control is concerned?
Yeah, the impact is that we will be able to control all the small arms that in possession of the government, because there are some complaints from civilians or that some elements within the organized forces, they take the weapons from their units and they go out and commit crimes with those weapons. So if these weapons are marked, it will be impossible for anybody to take weapon to go out and commit a crime with that weapon. So the impact will be security, stability within our communities within our cities.
Right.
And the purpose of arming, of marking also is that we want, this will enable the authorities to detect and investigate and analyze the illicit trafficking and illicit proliferation of small arms, and light weapons. And without this data, we will not be able to control all this. We will not be able to trace all these weapons. Yeah. So it's one of our means to try to control the proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
I think time is also not on our side. You'll be able to tell us your final message to the people of South Sudan as far as this small arm control is concerned. Mr. John.
First of all, I would like to thank the SSTV for having us live talk show, which we can send a message to our people. Number two, which is my message, and I said before, I will repeat it again. South Sudanese are not bad people. The situation where we are in is forced on us, but we have to come together and make it go on.
Right. What do you have to say, Brigadier?
What I would like to say to our people is that security is a collective responsibility. Each and every one of us has a role to play. It is not something to be left to the government alone. And after all, who is the government? Government is you and I, and the others. And the communities are the eyes and the ears of the government.
Right.
So we need a cooperation between the communities and the law enforcement agencies. This is very important. If police, for example, has to strike back effectively and to flush out criminals and bring them to book, they need cooperation of the communities. And we are happy that some communities has began to demonstrate their cooperation with the law enforcement agencies. And that is very important. And as I said earlier, there will be any meaningful development or sustainable development can be conducted in South Sudan without security.
Great.
Security comes first, to be followed by development, and it is a collective responsibility.
Great. Security comes first, then other developmental factors follows. The Director of Small Arms Control, we have Brigadier Christo Simon Fataki being with me here in the studio, and I also happen to have John Quachboom, Deputy Director for Security Research and Analysis and Policy Formulation. My name is Soro David. We've come to the end of this program. Continue watching the rest of the programs. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.